Okay, so in lesson 19, we're learning how to use functions. Functions are a way of recalling a lot of code at one time, so it saves you guys time when you're programming your program or coding your program. So what I wanted to point out, the first thing I wanted to point out is in puzzle 3, we're asked to call another function to reveal the image. And if we notice, if we hit run, we only have the sun, the sky. That includes the background and the yellow sun. They included another function, draw balloons, and that's really all we had to add. So we could simply just type in the function if you're using a text, or if we're using a blocks, we'll just call the functions. We're going to call the function draw balloons, and we'll have the balloons. What I wanted to point out, and the reason I made this video, is you'll notice that the functions are on the bottom of the code, the very end, and that's going to be okay. You typically do want, or at least when I make my code, I do create the functions at the end, just so they're all kind of set up at the very end. So you'll notice that this is one of the few things that I guess seems like the sequence isn't important. So I did want to point that out in puzzle 3. The next thing I'm going to go over is number 7, puzzle 7, where you're asked to start programming this flyer. So let's go and look at it. You'll often want to use the same code at many places in your program. Once you've created a function, you can call it as many times as you like. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a sprite that moves across the screen once. Or this code already does that. How can you make it go back across the screen? And when we say back across the screen, we mean when the sprite ends up on the very left side, just have it pop back up on the right side. So let's see what we're gonna have to do. The function is recalled once at the beginning of the program, meaning the set flyer is already set here. What the function does, if we take a look at the code, it essentially resets the flyer's x value, so it moves all the way to the right side. And then it sets the y to be the same 200, and the velocity is -1. So we're going to read the condition of the if statement inside the draw loop. And that's right here. So the draw loop, we're going to draw the trees. And then it's saying if the flyer.x is less than -50, so if the x position of the flyer is at -50, which is off the screen on the left side, well, what do you want to happen? We know that what we want to do is make it go back across the screen. So all we have to do is set the function, or use the function that's already created right here, set flyer. And so what that does is when the flyer is on the very left side, it's going to pop on the right side. I should have sped up the function a bit to show this, but we'll just use what we have. Next, we're gonna look at number 8, and again, so you'll see it popped up on the right side. So we're gonna look at number 8, and this is a continuation of it. I'm sorry, I wanted to look at 9. I should have reset that. I didn't have that ready, but let's just use it. I'm going to go ahead and reset this. And all I want to point out is what you're doing here is you're creating this draw night function. So let's take a look at what we have so far, I guess. We have the draw day, which looks like this, but we want to have a draw night function. Okay, it doesn't have a nighttime function. So what we do is we want the nighttime scene to look like this. And essentially what we want is when the mouse's y value is higher, or on the upper half, we want it to draw the nighttime, and we don't have the nighttime function yet. If it's under 200, if it's over 200, it'll draw daytime. If it's under 200 or on the top half, we want it to draw the night. That's the else part. So we don't have a night function. That's why the reflections are pausing on the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to want to draw that. So I'm not going to do this for you, but I think it might be a good idea to simply copy and paste. If you're doing the block, you could simply use the lasso tool and then copy by doing Control or Command C and pasting it right here. So let me just do that. It's not going to show my keyboard buttons, so I'm pressing Control C for copy. Here I'm clicking right here where my cursor is right now, and I'm doing Control V. Why didn't that work? Click on it again. There it goes. Once we see that black part right here, yeah, we can press Control V to paste. Now it's the daytime code, but we just have to essentially set the RGB values, or we could use the the quotation marks and type in the name of the color, but since it has the RGB values, we could do that by just kind of filling in these values for the RGB color. We want to change the background, that's like this darker blue, and then the watercolor, which I don't know what to call that, dark purple, I guess, and even the sun's, or I guess the moon's color in this case. And to make it easier for you guys, I'm gonna link this website where you guys could pick and choose the color. For instance, let's say that I want to choose, let's do the background color, the sky color. Let's say that I want it to look something like this, perhaps. Maybe a little lighter, like this. I'm going to choose the RGB 99155, and what I'll do is I'll go back and type 99155, and now when I reset on the nighttime, the night color is going to be that color, and I'll go back and change it for the watercolor and even look for the sun's color. So you could use this to get the RGB values. That'd be good review for that. So I think that's all the assistance I'm going to give for lesson 19. I'll be looking at your collector game puzzle 12, I'm sorry, to give you feedback on if you need help. This is where you're going to practice using the functions. You're going to create a game. I just changed this to test out, but it should be 10 points, where you're going to be creating kind of a game where you're trying to catch the coin. Okay? So this is the lesson on functions. Once again, I'm not going to grade this per se, because I want to give students a chance to catch up if they haven't gotten up to 18 yet. I just want to make sure they get all their stuff in, but for those of you guys who are ready to move on and want to move on, this will be lesson 19, and it'll be kind of the last major coding learning of new code that you're going to learn before you start planning your game out.